So the 49ers just got some electric news, and I was feeling all wait and see about it until it was confirmed by somebody else in a completely different setting, and all of a sudden I felt like we've got to talk about it. We're doing it in this video. Hit subscribe if you're looking for daily 49ers content, but the 49ers may have a splash move left in them after all. Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report was the first person I heard to suggest that the 49ers should be going in for Trey Hendrickson amidst the difficult contract negotiations between himself and the Cincinnati Bengals. If you haven't been following that because you're not a Bengals fan, I would understand why you haven't been. I don't follow general NFL news constantly, kind of a little bit a day, right? And basically, the situation in Cincinnati is looking worse as front office is basically saying Trey Hendrickson should be happy making less than what he's asking for. And if any player in the National Football League is told you should be happy playing less, it kind of puts you in a little bit of a weird spot, right? Well, Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report wasn't the only one. Yesterday, I was out building some new patio furniture on my back porch. Wait, strike that. Assembling some new patio furniture in the yard. I'm not that cool. And I was listening to the Ringer NFL show, and they threw out the 49ers name out there as well as a team that would be looking to get some top-level talent across from Nick Bosa. If the 49ers made a move for Trey Hendrickson, it for sure would be an electric move. But what would it cost? That's what we have to get down to. Of course, here's what Christopher Knox suggested of Bleacher Report in terms of what it's going to take. It's going to take the first round pick there. Okay, my daughter's trying to talk to me in the monitor here. You're going to have to wait. Daddy's recording a video. Anyway, it's going to cost the 49ers a 2025 first round pick. Okay, so there's just a little bit of pick swap. That sounds way more intense the way I phrased it. I apologize for that. The 49ers will get the 17th pick. They'll get the 11th. It'll also be the 2025 third round pick, 75 overall, and 2025 third round pick, 100th overall. That's the projection, okay? While the San Francisco 49ers may not be undergoing a full-on rebuild this offseason, they have allowed several key contributors to walk and must now find ways to replace him. All of that is fair. I think we can agree on that. The 49ers could look for their number 2 pass rusher in the draft. BR scouting department recently mocked Texas A&M's Shamar Stewart to San Francisco with $40.3 million in cap space. They could also consider pivoting to Hendrickson. San Francisco is equipped with 2 third-round picks. It was awarded a special compensatory selection for the external hirings of D'Amico Ryans and Rand Carthon. It could also offer both selections along with a fairly sizable first-round jump to Cincinnati for Hendrickson. Now, the 49ers have been linked with moving back several times. A lot of people are making that suggestion the 49ers should be moving back in the draft anyways. This would be a situation where if they're going to do that, rather than getting more picks for that, they could be moving back to bring in a genuine top all-pro talent. There's one more on there, and I don't know what it was. So I'm gonna have to pull that one up there. And we'll make sense of it in just a second, I swear. But hang tight for me. Oh, maybe that isn't it. Okay, I guess it wasn't. All right. The bottom line is that's what it would take to get the guy, okay? If the big concern for me is age, okay, and money, okay? If some people think this is not too bad for draft capital, I'll let you decide in the comments what you think about if two third round picks, a 75th overall and 100th overall, plus a pick swap in the first round would be worth it for the 49ers to get a genuine all-pro talent. You let me know in the comments what you think about that. But the big concern for me is the guy's already 30 years old and money. This guy is he's expecting like $15 million this year, by the way, okay? After an all-pro season, and he wants to get paid. Where have I heard that story before? Yes, you and I know that story all too well, way too many times. And that's not going to change if he comes to the 49ers. That's my big concern. But if the 49ers wanted to go to the draft capital route, this might be a good year to do that because the 49ers are in an incredible position from draft value ranking. They are ranked 7th right now. This is according to PFF draft values. They're ranked 7th in the NFL, which I'm told PFF is kind of middle of the road when it comes to draft value rankings. I don't get that deep into the mud, so I'll let you, feel free to tell me in the comments if you're like, no, PFF's draft value rankings is terrible, or okay, fine. But that when you look at Robert Saleh right now, and you're looking at the opportunities that the 49ers have at pick 11 at pick 75, pick 100. Those are the 3 picks that were mentioned there, okay? So that's 3 of their top 4 100 picks, okay? Big time, okay? But it's fair to say that if they were going to do it, doing it during a year when they have significant draft value does help, at least. That you're not giving crazy percentage of your draft value. I still don't like it in that sense. I'm like a little concerned about the amount of draft capital you're giving up for a guy who's also still going to want to get paid, and he's already 30 years old, but he did come off of an all-pro season. So there's something to say there for sure. I think if I'm Robert Saleh, I'm banking on on my ability as a coach, and I'm banking on our scouting department, who did really well last year. I'm banking on these guys all coming together and figuring out how to bring in great talent, bona fide talent that can play in their first season. We saw a number of guys coming in their first season and really contributing at a solid level. Not Trey Hendrickson level, okay? Not Trey Hendrickson level, but Dominic Pooney, Malik Mustafa, Renardo Green. I mean, there are dudes that were contributing. Isaac Garendo. There are a lot of guys that were contributing. And could the 49ers get one of those top 4 picks wrong and maybe think, oh, we should have traded some of that draft capital away? Yeah, maybe. But is the likelihood that they're going to get 4 out of those 4 wrong, or 3 out of those 4 wrong, excuse me? I don't think so. So it's a really tricky one from a draft perspective. I understand the argument that the 49ers have 11 picks, and so you might want to make that move this year as opposed to another year where they might not have that many picks. I get that argument completely. However, if draft capital isn't doing it for you and you're still in on Trey Hendrickson and you are like, it's still worth it, all right? It's good enough. We got to do it. Here's what the situation would look like for Trey Hendrickson, as a player. What we would be getting for the 49ers to do that. He was first in sacks, first in pressures, 4th in hits and hurries. PFF graded him as a 90.4 pass rusher, however, below average last season in run defense. So, no, he is not Leonard Floyd. He is significantly improved on Leonard Floyd. There would be a significant jump in value there, okay? It would cost you a lot of money. It would cost you a lot of draft capital. But yes, he is definitely an upgrade from Leonard Floyd. One of the reasons people believe Leonard Floyd's gone, however, is nothing to do with his pass rush, has everything to do with run defense. Same thing with Malik Collins. The 49ers need better run defense, and they needed it for a long time now. This is not brand new information. This extends even back into the 2023 electric season that the 49ers had. If the 49ers were to go and get Trey Hendrickson, they are definitely getting a bona fide talent, and I'm not the only one saying that. Don Atkinson of 49ers Web Zone wrote on Trey Hendrickson and this whole situation, saying, while the 49ers will have a healthy Nick Bosa to hold down one end of the defensive line, the counterpart position at the other end of the line has been something of a revolving door affair. And with the offseason departure of Leonard Floyd to the Atlanta Falcons, the roster is standing at present with Yetur Gross-Matos and Sam Okuwanu as principal opposite side edge rushers. And Yetur Gross-Matos, to be fair, is a little bit of a both. He's an edge guy, but he can also play in the middle. He's a little bit more flexible in that regard. So it wouldn't completely render him valueless if you're thinking of the Trey Hendrickson deal. I'm hungry. The 49ers will certainly be looking at the prospect of adding 1 or 2 talented defensive linemen in the upcoming draft, at least, I'll throw in there. But the speculation remains high that a trade for an established defensive end remains a distinct possibility for the 49ers, talented rookies or not. And you can see that based on the way that the 49ers met with players. They're definitely looking for a top edge. That's for sure. While Cincinnati's defensive unit didn't perform any better than the 49ers defense in 2024, last season was still a very good one for Hendrickson. Individually, he led the league in sacks with 17.5, including a 4-sack game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Pairing the 31-year-old Hendrickson with Bosa would be an immediate elevation of talent on the 49ers' softened defensive line. It would also allow the 49ers extended time to work a rookie edge rusher or 2 into the rotation this season. Now, the biggest argument for bring Trey Hendrickson in for me, if you're really thinking about this move, I think the biggest argument is, number one, proven talent is hard to come by. All right. You can do the best you can in the draft, but you never really know how things are going to go. Right. And with great coaching, which I think the 49ers have this season on defense especially, there's an opportunity there. There's an opportunity to draft these guys. However, there's still not a guarantee, and you could go and get a guy like Trey Hendrickson and have an immediate impact. The other thing that I would throw out there as a concern, we often talk about these players as if previous form guarantees future form, and that's just not the case. Obviously, as you know, we've seen it with Deebo Samuel most recently. Previous form doesn't guarantee future form. Brandon Aiyuk, I'm going to throw that one as like a doesn't really count, although he did have some bad drops and just looked rusty to start the season. I'm not going to say that necessarily suggests that had he been healthy all season, he wouldn't have been valuable to the 49ers. He would have been massively valuable. We needed a man beater, and that definitely he would have found his form. He would have started catching the ball. I don't have any doubt that he would have turned into maybe not the exact same numbers or whatever, but his efficiency in 2023 was incredible. He would have at least been a chip off of that in my mind. That being said, let me know in the comments what you think about this Trey Hendrickson. I don't know if you call it a rumor. These Trey Hendrickson suggestions. Should the 49ers be in on him? I don't think he's going to want to play at $15 million. So I think this would have to be one of those trade and then do a deal situations. Dude, I don't want that. I know that I'm just tired of it. And so maybe that's not really helpful. If he's best for the team, he's best for the team. But the last thing I want to see the 49ers do is go and trade for a guy who's not happy with his current salary at $15.8 million or whatever it is. And he's trying to make bank off of that all-pro season. So I don't really want to see this move, despite the fact that I think he would be an incredible addition to the 49ers. But it's gaining traction. A lot of people are now talking about it, and they're not talking about it because one person talked about it. They're all talking about it in their own right, from their own perspective. So I do think that is something worth suggesting. If Trey Hendrickson is going to hold out anyways with the Bengals, then maybe it's worth Cincinnati finding a trade partner and moving this guy on. They've clearly put all of their eggs in the offensive basket, and you can understand why with Joe Burrow, with Jamar Chase, with T. Higgins. You can understand why they're going hard on the offensive side of the ball and making sure that they keep great players around the football team, because that is just a good principle in general in free agency. Keep good players around. Don't lose good players. The 49ers know all too well, of course, of holding on to guys too long. I don't think that's a situation for Trey Hendrickson, but I don't think that he, at edge rushers he's 270 pounds. He's a big man. So their bodies do break down, and there is a concern there of going and getting a guy at age 30 already and going there and paying him crazy money coming off of his all-pro season. Cincinnati, that's your problem. You're the ones who are in the situation where you have to pay somebody after an all-pro season. We've seen that too many times ourselves. I don't really personally want it, but I am more than interested in what you guys have to say about it. For me, 18 days to the 2025 NFL draft. Let's just go with the draft. Let's just focus on the draft. Let's focus on how we can make it happen in the draft. If it were me, that's what I would do. I look forward to seeing what you have to say in the comments as always, though, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend and enjoy the rest of it.